Jack Angry, along with Countess Bubia. And we're with the Angry Brothers Omaha Shakarama, myself, Brother James, the Countess, Inferna, and the rest of the gang want to welcome you to Chop Block's Horror Network. And remember, friends, let's keep America on top. Watch Horror Host, y'all. And you can do that on Chop Block. Anything you'd like to add, Countess?
Well, it seems like being spooky is in style these days.
So, good night and unpleasant dreams.
Sweet nightmares.
Well, greetings, faithful followers. This is your old pal, Brother Jack Angry.
Well, greetings, faithful followers. I'm Brother Jack Angry, along with DUVURGER.
Hello.
And the Countess Bubula. And we want to throw a big shout out to our friends at After Hours Cinema and WGUD in Pascagoula, Mississippi. Thanks for all your support. Keep up the great work and keep those B-movies rolling, Lee. Well, greetings, faithful followers. This is your old pal, Brother Jack Angry, along with DUVURGER, our special guest, and the lovely Countess Bubula. Yeah, don't we all wish that? Yeah, there you go. But no, tonight's movie we're going to be doing Aberrations, which was one of your, was this another one of Steve Sessions'
Yes,
films?
as a matter of fact it was.
Okay, so we've inadvertently done a whole Steve Sessions retrospective here. You know, it's like...
Oh, he has many more.
Oh, I'm sure he does. I mean, Steve's quite prolific, isn't he?
Yes, and he needs to make more.
Yes, I think that's a hint, Steve, you know. Here's the hint.
I will drive to Carolina.
Well, okay, it's like, there you go, Steve. You can't ask for a better endorsement than that. Your Angry Brothers approved, along with the Countess. But now, Aberrations. Now, that was another anthology, wasn't it? Or...
Yes.
Okay, and you played an author who is using a Ouija board to communicate with a murderer?
No, basically what it is I'm a mystery writer who is cheating. I figure out the Ouija board, I made contact with a famous writer.
Okay.
And I'm stealing his stories by saying, you know, well, don't you want to tell me the stories you didn't get out yet? And so the anthology of the stories are his stories that are coming out. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I made the connection just a little too.
Yes, you did come to a rather bad end in that film.
Yes.
Although the makeup work was quite well done. You know, and you know, even Brother Jack doesn't like care for Ouija boards. I mean, it's like...
I still have the Ouija board.
Oh, well, it was quite an ornate. If I remember correctly, it was quite an ornate Ouija board. Was it handmade or?
No, I don't know where Steve got it, but he knew I fell in love with it. He said I got to keep it, so I
Well,
kept
that
it.
was very...
And it's exactly where it was in the movie. You know why? That's my dining room.
Okay, so it was actually...
That's actually my house, so...
Now, see, that's what I love about indie filmmaking. It's like people... It's just a monument to people's ingenuity and creativity. Because I've seen these movies being shot in hotel rooms. I've seen them being shot in people's homes. I've seen them even doing guerrilla camera work, basically wherever they feel like it. I mean, I've seen indie filmmakers pull up to a location, pile out with a hand cam and a few people for the crew, shoot their films, jump in the car, and speed off before anybody's even the wiser. You know, it's like, I'm a big fan of guerrilla filmmaking. And no, Sanjay, I'm not talking about this kind of guerrilla. You know, it's like, I knew where he was going with that.
That's not natural.
Yeah, it's like
really
little brown monkey over there.
I'm not looking.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, don't shake your fist at me. You know, don't forget, I still got your I could still have your green card pulled at any time. Yes.
Call ice on him.
Yeah, it's like, well, that's it, you know, we'll lock him up with the Mexican kids at the border, you know, it's like...
Yeah, it's something I really have a disagreement about. That should not be happening.
No, it shouldn't.
Seriously pisses
It
me off.
should not be happening. I mean, separation of families is never right in anybody's book.
America's got a history of it. Remember the Japanese internment camps in World War II?
Yep,
Pattern
Mindanao.
anyone?
Yep, Mindanao. I mean, ask our good friend George Takei about that, you know.
Oh, he did an amazing job with his story retelling.
Okay.
That was brilliant.
Yeah,
And people should pay attention to it.
Definitely. Well, I mean, come on, it's George Takei. It's like, you know, 'cause I mean, 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 I me The man could say 2 words, "Oh my," and you know, it just means so much.
I think it's great that he became even more famous just for being himself.
Well, that's it. You know, it's like
I think
God
it's
love you,
Wonderful.
God love you, George. I mean, you know, hell,
I'm a huge fan.
yes, same here. I mean, I actually had I've got an autographed picture of him on the wall over
I
there.
saw that.
And I actually, he actually remembered when we'd actually met him in a convention, me and Brother James, and you know, the poor guy, it's like he'd been signing autograph all day, and his hand was literally swollen, you know, and he tried to put a little personal message, and when he got up to me, he said, "Well, what would you like me to say?" I said, "George, would you like me to get some ice for your hand?" And he goes, "Oh, God bless you, my hand is killing me." So I actually went to the ice machine around the corner, and they had the bags that they give you to line the ice buckets. I filled it up with ice and I brought it over to him,
That
and
was nice of
he you know, set it on his hand and said, "Thank you, my hand is killing me." And he goes, "Well, what would you like me to write on your picture?" And I go, "Just keep it brief. You know, I know you've been writing all day and your hand's probably hurting like hell." So he just wrote "Fondly, George Takei," which meant a lot to me. And it's like he even commented that me and my brother were twins, and he goes, "You guys are twins, aren't you?" And I go, "Yep." And he goes, "Who's older?" "I am by 5 minutes." And he even got out, fist bumped me at the time, and it's like, you know, really, really, really personable, really outgoing man. I mean, I had the pleasure of meeting him and James Doohan at the same convention, although poor Scotty, I think, was half in the bag by the time he got to us. You know, it was like he'd scrawl something like, "There you go," and you know, it's like, oh
That'd
boy.
have been fun.
Well, yeah, it's like, you know, you ask him a few questions and you're expecting some big complex answer, and he goes, "Nope, we just, you know, they just dubbed that in, and I just kind of fingered the bagpipes like I was playing, and afterwards we went to the pub." You know, it's like, okay, you got points for honesty, dude.
That's one thing that's great about conventions. You get a chance to actually meet some of these people.
Well, when me and the Countess were at Okamacon, we watched Sam Jones referee a wrestling match. I was trying to get the Countess up there as the ring girl, but they didn't want to do it because it was supposed to be a family-friendly event, and you know, they kind of thought, you know, it's like,
Oobala.
yeah, well, it's like no taste, you
These
know.
members weren't allowed.
Yes, it's like the fools, you know. It's like, you know, definitive proof of a higher being.
If I ever got back into mud wrestling, I would absolutely have you as my ring girl.
If she ever gets back into mud wrestling, you know, it's like, I'm going to invest in liniment for my shoulder and rotator cuff surgery because I'm going to need it. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, I did mud wrestling, I did jello wrestling, I did oil wrestling, and you know what I found out? If you get the wrong kind of jello.
What is that noise?
Satan?
Oh, is it your phone upstairs, Becky?
Oh, it could be. It's
All right, well,
Satan.
Oh, okay, well,
He's calling again.
Do you want to take a moment and shut it off?
No, it's fine.
That's why I was reacting, because I was hearing the phone. So.
Okay, well, no, we'll edit this part out. So, post-production. All right, here we go.
Gonna go back to the wrestling comment?
Yes, yes.
And have Sanji overly excited where he's sweating, nearly having a heart attack.
Okay, yes, it's like, yes, if you go back to mud wrestling, I'm going to invest in rotator cuff surgery and a gallon of liniment for my arm. And Sanji, it's like, wait a minute, Sanji's over there clutching his chest, and you know, he doesn't look too good, he's sweating. Somebody want to go?
I did mud wrestling, I did jello wrestling, and I did oil wrestling.
Oh my God, it's like, yeah.
Lots of baby oil.
Oh.
It made the bikini very slippery.
Oh yes, it's like you'd get a hold on her and you'd have a hard time keeping it, you know.
That's the idea.
Yes, it's like, I knew I
Because then you
liked,
have to keep trying.
I knew I loved you for a reason, you know.
My opponents didn't.
You know, it's like, how do you feel about a life of wealth and deceit? It's like, yeah, Sanji's over there giving us the big thumbs up. Oh, somebody slapped.
That's not as
Somebody slapped the defibrillator on him. I guess he's going to be okay.
That's not as thumb.
But anyway, so okay, so you
Really gotta get more close to that.
you had the wrestling experience. Now, obviously, these. How did you get connected with this movie? I mean, did Steve just remember you from the other films you did and offered you the part, or?
He calls me up and he asked originally if he could use my house. And then I said, yes. And he said, yeah, by the way,
There's always
there's
that by the way.
script. And I'm like, Steve, all you have to do is ask. He's like, all right, I need you to do this. And I said, okay.
All right, and Aberrations, you know, who else was in Aberrations? There was you, and I'm trying to remember the rest of the cast. I'm like I said, I'm drawing a total blank here, and I don't have my copy handy, so.
You need to read the credits.
I read the credits.
You need to read the credits.
Yes, I
You-
will.
You know what you could do? Post the credits.
Actually,
So everyone will know all the wonderful, talented names.
well, yes, and I'll even put a link to the IMDb page.
That would be a great thing
And-
because everyone's got an IMDb.
That's right, and this will go. This will get a write up in our blog as well, and those links will be posted, and they'll be posted at the end of this show.
Okay.
But now, Aberrations. What made that stand out from the other films that you've done?
Well, again, it was anthology. You know,
Mhm.
I have a thing for that.
Yes.
But it was psychological thriller. It wasn't just monsters. It was things that took you to the dark side of humanity.
Okay, so it was basically
And- Let's face it, humans are the biggest monsters.
Well, that's true. I mean, what was it? Bacon said, "There is no hell, and the devils are already here." Well, I mean, unfortunately, in this day and age, that is more prevalent than ever, and you know, much to humanity's chagrin.
It's history. Humanity is evil.
Well, that's true. I mean, it's like, so, you know, I guess it's a day-to-day thing to live up to the better angels of our nature. I mean, some days we get it, some days we don't. So you do what you can do. But now, Aberrations, your scene, I mean, obviously you played the writer who was communicating with a dead author through the Ouija board, and you came to the bad end. So it basically, not to give away any spoilers, he was setting you up through the Ouija board to be his next and maybe final victim.
Yes and a yes.
Okay, and yes, he came back in zombie form, and
So that's one of the other things I liked about it is I got to kind of be part of the whole thing. I got to wind through it like a tapestry.
well, yes, you were the common thread that tied everything together. Is, you know, basically leading everybody through these stories up to your own untimely end, and you know, I thought that was very well done on Steve's part. You know,
It almost got someone punched.
oh, and how?
They didn't tell me that was going to happen.
Oh, what? You just turned around and the zombie was standing behind you, or?
We had to reshoot it because the first time he got the guy to sneak in right behind me and nobody told me. So I'm sitting there doing my thing and all he said was, look behind you as if someone is there and you are frightened. As if.
And you turn
And
around.
I have this much room between me and my French doors. So I'm thinking, no, you know, I'm looking at the French door. So I turn and something's actually there. It was pure instinct picked up. I'm like, and he's like, whoa, no. The writer would not punch the
zombie.
thing, so you gotta stop. So yeah,
And
I was
that's when
like
she shot him.
immediately-
And that's when she shot him, Your Honor.
I wasn't expecting it.
Well, that's what we call method acting, you
and we
know.
had to wait for everyone to stop laughing.
Possibly go change your jeans, you know. It's like,
Scared the cat.
uh,
That cat in the movie's actually my cat.
oh, well, he was a cutie. Bless his heart.
His name is Nero.
Nero, yes. Not my favorite emperor, but, you know, still a great name.
Yeah, but he meows as if he's playing a fiddle while Rome burns, especially when he's hungry.
Yes,
The
that's...
sound is a little too close for comfort, so I had to call him Nero.
Yeah, I've got a cat that yells at me in the morning, comes down here and sits on the rug and yells at me till I get out of bed.
Yeah, they were worshipped as gods in Egypt, and they haven't forgotten.
Yeah, no, it's like
They know.
they're wanting their old job back, you know. It's like, hey, monkey, feed me. He goes over to his dish and he'll sit by it and like, hey, look at this. My dish is empty. I can see the bottom of it. What's the matter with you? Don't you know that's a sign of kitty starvation? You know?
should be nicer to your pussies.
That's true. It's like I definitely would have more pussy if I was nicer to it. You know, lesson learned. Yes, it's like Brother Jack actually went there, you know. It's like, but yeah, I remember when we did, Brother James, Inferno, and Lady Torrid, did the original 1931 version of Cat People by, I don't think it was Murnau, I think it was maybe, oh, I can't remember the director's name, but it was the original 1931, not the one with Natasha Kinski, which was a great
I love
film.
that one.
Oh, I know, it's like, we may have to even run that, you know, it's like, Universal will be damned on that. They can sue us if they, what are they gonna get? Half of nothing is still nothing, you
An
know.
uncle of mine worked on the soundtrack.
Oh, really? That was, I love Natasha Kinski in that film. She was so hot with that short, dark hair. You know, it's like, sorry, it's like, you know, that and Sheena Easton, you know, it's like, Brother Jack just said how old he is, you know. You know,
Yeah.
God love the 80s. You gotta love the 80s. Yeah.
I actually don't remember most of the 80s. Those brain cells died horribly screaming because it was the 80s.
Yes, it's, cocaine and weed was definitely a thing in the 80s. Or I should say,
You stop there? I mean,
well, it's like all I remember is the cocaine, you know. Reagan was in office, America was God, and cocaine was everywhere.
as the little pieces of paper.
I never did that stuff. I didn't need that. I was paranoid on my own. You know, it's like,
I called it a poor man's vacation.
well, that's,
I said amongst other things.
yes, it's like, you know, and porno actors all had those big mustaches. The aberrations. Now, that was what, several stories that were tied together with you as the common thread. And Steve Session. Now, how well did Aberrations do? I mean, was it was regarded as one of his better works, if I'm not mistaken.
It was well received. It was very well received. It and Cremains seem to be his most popular movies.
Okay. Well, okay, yes, Cremains. What other films has he done? I mean, we know he's done Zombie Pirates, we know he's done Cremains, we know he's done Aberrations, but I believe there were some other titles that you were involved with. There was one title where you played like a man's mistress, because I remember seeing you in it, you were wearing...
Malefic.
Malefic, that's the one with...
And it's done Alfred Hitchcock style, it's black and white.
Malefic, that's the one with the... And that's the one you haven't seen yet, I don't think.
Yes, I had to wear a little
Baby
slip,
doll.
little baby doll slip. And I was so scared that I went to the wrong side of my car
Ah,
and couldn't get out. Which was actually my car, by the way.
okay.
And the funny part was, I forgot my keys. Which fit in with being scared.
Well, that's it. Now, Malefic, again, I'm trying to remember what the gal's name was. I've talked to her on Facebook, but she's kind of gotten a little strange out there.
You're thinking of the goth chick that's the main protagonist
There
of the
you
show?
go.
That would be Lilith Stabs.
Yes, Lilith Stabs.
Who is also in Cremains.
Oh, yes, she was in Cremains. Now, that's the name I couldn't
She's a
remember.
necromancer in Cremains. But yeah, she's a regular featured actress in a lot of films. And Steve loves working with her.
Well,
She gets a certain vibe out
she's
there.
quite the attractive lady, definitely. You know, I loved your scene. You know, you wore the baby doll nightie very well, and you know, the whole playing the rich man's sugar baby, as it were. You know.
Yeah, the one dumb enough to pick up the phone.
Well, you know, it wouldn't have been much of a movie if he hadn't have. So you know, that's the way it goes.
And the rich man in it is Steve Sessions himself. You actually get to see him on camera.
Ah, I didn't know that.
He is the one that is scared of what's going on, that's being blackmailed.
Ah, because I remember I did watch Malefic. I was working in a local tech library. I was doing some work, and I had my laptop, and I threw that in while I was doing writing a blog post. You know, I would glance back and forth, so I missed the bit with Steve Sessions in it. But now that I know, I'll definitely have to check that out when I find my...
He's the one that kills me.
Oh, yes, that's right. He did, didn't he? All right.
And I was also in Cadaver Bay, which is another one of his films.
Cadaver Bay.
Look at
So I
the
remember that one. Yes.
And my husband's in that one.
Okay. It's like, I know we've got these films around here, because I think you sent me Cadaver Bay, and you sent me Malefic, and Cremains, and Zombie Pirates. I think you sent me like 4 or 5 of them. And I know they're probably here somewhere. I'll just have to go through
They have
them.
to get you some of the newer stuff that I've done with other producers.
And okay, let's talk about some of that a little. We'll touch on that a little bit before
Okay.
the next interview, or we'll cover that right now.
Yeah,
So,
either way.
all right. So tell us about some of the new stuff that you're involved with.
Okay, well, recently, last year, I flew up to Oregon and I was in 3 different films. A guy named Jeff Snyder actually managed to get all of us to work together well enough to do 3 films in 2 weeks. Are you with me, Henry?
He knows. He found out about the grave robbery.
He doesn't know anything.
Where did you come from?
Which was impressive.
That's quite a.
I'd never been run through a gauntlet like that before, and it was challenging and it was fun, I have to admit. And he has a very different approach than Steve, but he's been making movies for quite some time, so.
And speaking of producers, we also want to throw a shout out to a new friend of the show, Tim O'Hearn.
Who's in those 3 movies?
That's right. And, you know, and what is it Tim refers to us as? A dystopian?
No, the pop culture dystopian bundle of happiness.
That would be us. You know, pop culture dystopian bundle of happiness. I'm going to have to look that up and find out just exactly what the hell all that means, but hey, we love it.
Well, he's quite intelligent, so he uses big words.
It's like,
But
well,
he's also a drummer and an action star, all kinds of stuff. So
wow, it's like definitely
he's a
somebody.
fun guy to work with.
Definitely someone we want to have as a friend of the show. And Tim, you know, this is I'm putting out the word, this is my personal invitation to you. Anytime you come through Omaha, you hit Brother Jack up and, you know, we'll hang out, we'll throw back a few and you can talk about whatever projects you want and we'll give you all the pub we can handle. I mean, that's my promise from me and the Countess to you and the whole family here at the Angry Brothers.
I think he sent the trailer for one of the films that he has in a film festival right now.
Well, we'll definitely have to get that up, and we'll feature that on an upcoming show here when he gives us the word. But, okay, so what else, what other projects have you got?
Recently I filmed in a movie called Devotion. John Arminho, he's actually a well-known actor in a lot of things, like Jurassic Park, stuff like that. But he does his own films as well, Our Fun Productions.
And that one
that was a great filming experience as well. Very nice people, no drama on the set. It was a miracle.
Wow.
There was no drama. I love those guys.
And now that film is still in post-production?
It's in post-production.
So
They're
we
doing
can't
editing
show
right
you
now.
anything about that, but once it clears post and...
You got the trailer, but that's all you get for now. It's a tease.
Okay, but and we can show the trailer on the show?
The trailer, yes.
All right, yes, the trailer on the show, and when we get, you know, when we get the okay, we will do a full feature on that, but you can look for that trailer.
You should definitely talk to John one day.
Yes,
It's fun.
we definitely will. I mean, it's like, hey, that's what it's all about, is networking. But, you know, we will put up some scenes from Aberrations here. But anything else you want to mention before we go?
Not too long ago, I was working on Ghost Legends.
Okay, now is that a TV series?
That is made for TV, and what it is basically paranormal investigations of famous ghost legends like Marie Laveau. and we were legitimately doing paranormal investigations. We were not joking about it. It is a historical recreation and paranormal
Well, that's
investigation.
definitely something that's right
So
up our alley.
it's a little different from B horror because it was.
Well, you know, the Omaha, there's a lot of paranormal groups that are active here in the Omaha area, and we'd like to hook up with some
I'd
of them.
love to get to know them, because
you know,
I'm
and-
definitely into that.
And we would love to go along on a paranormal investigation. You know, the Villisca axe murder house does come to mind.
Wouldn't mind checking that out.
Now, you've actually been there, haven't you, Countess?
Indeed. It is, it's a staple of Iowa, definitely.
Iowa?
Yeah, it's in Villisca, Iowa.
Oh, okay.
It's a family by the name of Moore, like I think 4 or 5 members of that family were axe murdered, you know, and they've never.
Kind of like Lizzie Borden.
And that took place about 100+ years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Unsolved?
it's been unsolved. Actually, I work with one of the descendants of that family, and she kind of filled me in on the history. Her last name is Moore, and she could trace her lineage directly back to the mother. That was her great aunt or something to that regards. But she could trace her lineage back all the way. It's been a family, you know, I don't want to say a family secret, but it's kind of a family legend, as it were. You know, and she's firmly assured me that everything that goes on in that house, nothing is staged, nothing is gimmicked up, that anything that's happened in that house has been the result of an actual haunting.
I've experienced activity there.
I would love to check it out.
Well, that's
So we
definitely,
should start a fundraiser, get Dawn back up here so she can go investigating things and have fun.
well, that's it, you know, it's like that's definitely on our bucket list to get Dawn back, but
Plane, train, you know, various ways.
yeah, it's like, well, yes, and we've got sources, we've got new friends of the show, and you'll be meeting them shortly, but so,
Your cameraman's doing fun.
yes, Sanji's trying to do the
Genie
hoochie.
in a bottle?
Yeah, it's like the hoochie coochie over here, and it's like, stop it, you're creeping me out. I can't unsee that.
I don't think things are supposed to bend like that.
No, it's like
What have you been feeding him?
last time I bet like that, that resulted in a hospital stay of at least several weeks. You know, I think I ripped my taint. Yeah, it's like too much information, I know.
I
Yeah.
can't unsee it.
Yeah, it's like let's all mull that mental image over, and you're welcome. But anyway, so from myself, Brother Jack, the Countess, Dawn DUVURGER, and all the other good friends, Sanjay, our cameraman, all of our other good friends, myself, and the rest of the gang, good night, unpleasant dreams, and let's keep America on top. Watch Horror Host, y'all, and impeach now.
That didn't work. We tried.
Yeah, we tried. Damn. Go.
Well, greetings, faithful followers. This is your old pal, Brother Jack Avery, bringing you another